What's up guys, Jivan back with another video. Today I'm going to be trying to explain to you how fighting in the spray meta is actually really easy for me. I know a lot of people are still struggling to fight against SMGs, and in this video we're going to be going over 4 things. How to get the health advantage to start the fight, how to get in with the SMG, how to counter somebody else's SMG, and how to get heals off when you're being absolutely psychoed, plus some bonus stuff at the end. Please consider hitting that like button, subbing if you're new, using code JivanTV in the Fortnite item shop, and let's hop into it. First topic we're talking about is how to get a health advantage. We'll just be breaking down a variety of examples here. So the best way to start out a fight is with a shotgun, trying to get that initial damage dealt with the shotgun and then getting in with the SMG. There's a million ways to get that initial damage dealt with the shotgun. This was a really good example. I saw the enemy was playing on top of this cone here. He was looking for piece control plays, trying to get me pre-box, and that gave me a chance to go for this quick shot without having to worry about getting shot back. The biggest thing that I think a lot of people struggle with in the spray meta is playing safe and defending from those spray plays into your box. Notice how when I was fighting that first guy, I was keeping my distance until I got that health advantage. Once I saw him pushing forward, I backed up. I didn't want him to get up in my face. Immediately after that fight, another person pushes up, and because I just finished fighting, I knew this guy was going to be very aggressive because he thought I was weak. And knowing that, I kept my distance because I thought he was going to try to spray in. Knowing when opponents are going to spray into your box is the most important thing in the spray meta. We'll be going into a lot of detail on that later in this video. One of the best ways to get damage dealt in a fight is with piece control from behind cover. The most simple explanation of this is getting the opponent boxed without ever exposing yourself. And you can do this just like I did here. I placed the cone and walls around the opponent through a window. The idea is you're building around the enemy while behind a right-hand peak. One of the biggest things in this fight is notice how I back up while taking my shot, just in case the enemy tries to SMG spray into my box. I'm so lucky he was one shot here. I don't know why I pickaxed. This is another perfect example if you didn't fully understand that last one. Right here, when I go for this peek shot, the reason it's so safe is because he was on the back side of his box, which means he's not in a position to spray into my box. He's too far back. So this was a great time to go for a peek shot. Like I said earlier, we'll be talking about how to identify when they're going to spray into your box later in this video and how to counter that. But here's the last example for getting that health advantage in a fight. In this fight, notice how the whole time I'm just tracking his movement. I'm following him while he moves left, and I'm trying to claim pieces on his way. Every build that I claim forces him to keep moving and gives me more opportunities to claim more piece control. By the end of it, I was able to get in his box and get the kill. If you need more help with this part of the video, the biggest things I recommend is watching my piece control from behind cover video down below and getting a lot of practice in 1v1s. Next part of this video is how to get in with the SMG. This is crucial to know because once you get the damage dealt with the pump, you gotta get in with the SMG to finish the fight. Now there's ways to get in, like for example here, I exploited in. The way I did this is placed a ramp behind me and timed my jump so right as the wall broke, I would be hitting the top of my ramp and it would push me in. You should practice that exploit in creative with a friend till you can get it down because, like you saw, what is the enemy gonna do there? There's lots of ways to finish the fight with the SMG. For example, in this one, notice how I'm moving around in the fight. I'm switching walls. I'm running in circles basically around this guy. And he got dizzy. So he didn't know where I was, and then I got the sneaky spray on him. Another way you can get in to end the fight is with slide plays. In this situation, he had just landed from a launch pad and was getting shot at by everyone, so I assumed he was a little weak. If you time the slide right, you can slide right into their box, but in this situation, he wasn't even holding the wall. The SMGs break walls so fast that if you spray at their wall when they least expect it, like in this clip, you can just get right in. The surprise factor with SMG sprays is everything. This fight's an even better example. When walls are edited, specifically brick and metal walls, they are one shot, which means if you go for a quick spray play into their box like this, you can get right in. You gotta be sneaky with it, otherwise they're just gonna hold the wall and oftentimes you won't go through. But he couldn't see me in this situation because I hugged the wall while I did it, so I just got right in. In short, the best ways to get in with the SMGs is through the surprise factor and through exploits. Get that health advantage to start the fight with the pump and then get in with the SMG and you should win almost every fight. Part 3, the most important part, how to counter the SMG. We've already talked about this a little bit. The biggest thing is keeping distance when you know they're about to go for a spray play. It should always be on your mind during a fight. One thing that I really try to do and I'm really good at is countering their movement. I see them move forward with the SMG, I move backwards. In this example, it was a drum shotgun. He's just walking forward at me, so I'm countering his movement and moving away while he moves towards me. If I didn't get the kill on that shot, I could have flipped my cone up and gone out the side or the top. Right here, I'm going for his wall and I don't get it. So I back up while aiming at him and get that free shot. And then I do this whole sequence that we're gonna slow down here, but the biggest thing to notice is the movement. I don't get the wall here, I back up while taking the shot and placing a ramp. By getting the ramp in there, it forces him out of side. I see his body turn to the left. That's why I piece controlled that direction. But when I go for this peek shot, I notice him running at me. As soon as I see that, I start to back up. Watch their movement and counter it with your own. My goal is usually to stay around one box away. Now, what's a good way to counter when they're spraying at you? Well, if you double layer, you hold a ramp and a wall while they're spraying at you, the bullets won't hit you. The main thing is knowing when you're going to get sprayed at. I knew that guy was there, so when I took shots at the other dude, I knew he was gonna start spraying at me. I go for a quick peek shot with the pump because I have 2 builds placed. It's gonna take him a while to break those 2 builds. So I got that free shot. And then after that, I just predicted his movement and smacked him in the forehead. Yeah. So we've talked about how to counter the opponent's movement, but a really powerful skill to have in this meta is baiting their movement. Especially in Arena, a lot of people will resort to just spraying into your box. You can use that to your advantage by baiting it, just like I did here. I stood right outside his wall, and once I saw him going for the edit, I built the wall and went for a peek shot. I manipulated his hand to charge at me and punished him for it. There's lots of ways you can manipulate movements in fights. For example, back in that other fight when I got the ramp in the guy's box, and then he went out the side. That's one way to manipulate movement. This right here is an example that I've done a lot of times recently. First off, I'm in a bunch of enemy builds. I need to get out of here. I go for a quick reposition out, and while I do that, I claim all the walls so that he's boxed there. This allows me to get 2 more free shots, but when he claims the wall right here, that means he has 1 escape and it's directly towards me. So I box up the box that I was already in and let him walk right into it. Knowing the opponent's exits allows you to make a lot of plays. You just gotta be aware of that kind of stuff. For the next part of this video, I think this is something that a lot of people need help with: how to get heals off in the spray meta. I clipped 2 really good examples here. The first one is a bit simpler. This is just a simple layer change and double layering. When I'm weak in a fight and trying to get heals off, I double layer any direction that I think the opponent might come from. So I figured he might come from straight above where I just dropped down. So I place a ramp over the head and then a wall behind me before I start getting heals off. This next example was a lot more extreme. I was absolutely one-shot and this guy was an absolute sweat. You'll see here that I'm switching layers a lot. I go for a lot of side jumps, but I'm always making sure that any direction the opponent could shoot me from is double layered. The biggest thing in these situations is you need to make sure you're listening very carefully of where the enemy is. You don't want to wait until you can see him. You need to make sure that you're listening very carefully and blocking off the sides you hear him coming before he even gets there. I got all my heals off in this fight by staying tons of steps ahead of him. Hopefully by this point in the video, you have a much better idea about how to fight in the spray meta. The thing is, there's millions and millions of situations that can pop up in fights. If you guys have found this video helpful so far and want more videos like this, let me know in the comments, leave a like. I got a few bonus tips. What you saw right there is a great play that can catch a ton of people off guard. If you see them holding their gun out on the other side of a wall, edit that wall, reset it, and then shoot once you see them shoot. You gotta have really fast reactions, but it works like a charm. This here fight is a great example on how to set up a really smart push when there's other players around. You saw that I got shot at there, so I set up a very protective push when I'm pushing this guy in the box. I built all around me and put the opponent in the middle of me and the third party. That way, if anybody's gonna get pushed by the third party, it's the opponent. I ended up cleaning up that fight with no problem there. I'm including this clip here because it's a really good example of how to use a front side high wall. Check this out, it's actually so clean. So right here in the fight, I see the ramp above me. Anytime I see a ramp like that, I try to swing high walls right next to the ramp, so then easy box play just like this. Now, if you've ever wondered why high ground retakes are so crucial to learn in the game, this is a perfect example. Notice how I kind of swap between 2 different high ground retakes with no problem here. Every single high ground retake you learn more flexibility in your builds. which allows you to be a really flexible build fighter just like I am in this fight. If you don't already know a lot of high ground retakes, you definitely should go start adding that to your warm-up routine. Maybe every day when you hop on, learn a new high ground retake. I have lots of retake tutorials, whether it be beginner, medium, advanced. I got it, so I definitely recommend. It can also help you to make plays like this, where you're in the middle of a high ground retake, but you see a piece control opportunity. So you just pause the high ground retake and get that piece control. Once you get super comfortable with retakes, it gives you confidence in your builds and you can make plays just like that. This here is a good example of piece control. The enemy was running and I knew he was going to turn around to build behind him. As soon as he gets past that place where the wall is built, I build it behind him and then he's just left standing there with his builds out, getting shot by me. That's it for this video, guys. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more videos like this. If you want a good warm-up routine, click the video on your screen right now. Don't forget to like and sub, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.